and it should be recording. It should say tell you it's recording now.
Yes, I see this little red.
Cool.
Yes, it's recording.
All right, so go ahead. Let's load Zoom. And what's the first thing you're going to do? Are you going to load it on the grid?
Oh, no, I want to load it on the chart, which we're on charts.
Okay, cool.
And I want to clean this up. So I need to go to Studies, Control E.
No, remember, I made you a hot button. There's your hot button on the left. There it is. There you go.
Nice. Oh man, that was
How slick was that, sir?
So now I want to zoom out and take a look at where's the COVID crash. That is right here. And you can see that Zoom was already holding up. People knew that with this lockdown software like this, and look, this is the first thing that pumped. I bet this is the first stock that pumped right after COVID. Right? Unless maybe it was some kind of healthcare stock.
Keep going.
The first tech stock. I bet this is it. So we see some gaps. I think that's important. You see there was basically no resistance. I mean, there was some sellers, but the price kept going up and people stopped selling, right? They said, I'm not going to sell this thing. The price is going up every second. Then we topped out here. And
now tell me, what does the open square mean for
this
you?
Is a wick. It's a wick.
So that just means it was the high of the day at the top of the wick.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is 165.10.
Yes, exactly. So
okay, keep going.
If this was on a normal candlestick style,
it would have a long wick, right?
It would just have a little wick there, and now it got heavily overbought, and there was a sell-off, and I'm guessing there was somewhat of a panic. People who had made profits were taking, and now the people who missed out on taking their profits took some here. See this tall wick here?
Yes.
The price is rising, but people are going, well,
I'm getting out.
I'm getting out because I've already made a lot of money because I bought it somewhere here.
Right.
But the price keeps rising. And now you can see there's a big area. I have this mark here, and I don't know when I made this, but it's held up. You can see it's somewhere in this area around 125 to 130.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Zoom's going to flip back around and go back to 160 without coming down to these. That's what I'm wondering. I'll be very interested to see if it comes back down to the 126 area.
Well, I think that once we'll see where it consolidates, whether that's at 135 or 125.
Now, Clifton, let me ask you a question. Remember, back up to the come down, down, to the right. Okay, yeah. So you start counting those green candles from the 16th of March, See the 16th? See this? That's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stop. So I want to write this down, even though we're recording. So this is what I found. This is what I'm trying to tell you. This is what's different. This is what he's tweaking that is different. So how many days did we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 316.
Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 candles. 6.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles.
Okay, then count the red. So we had 1 red.
1 and then 3 green.
And then
4 red.
And then
1 green.
2
red.
And now here comes the 6 to 5 candles. Watch.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
Okay, and then we had 4 days of red. 2 green, a red day, but it was actually the price.
And look at all the volume that came in. I don't know.
Highs.
Why was that on the 24th? Like, what was it? Their earnings?
This was the stock literally hit all-time highs, and then at like 3 p.m., Facebook announced that they were launching a direct competitor to Zoom. That was this day. I remember it.
Okay.
And the price, it went down quite far. And then I think a lot of people were shorting it on the next day, but
it finished green.
I guess they got wrecked because the real short was the next day.
Now
And
those little white lines, are those the PCP, the previous close price? Is that what's that?
exactly.
And what about that little white line above that red candle?
This
That's
is
also no, the one,
right
that
here.
one, yeah.
Yeah, that was where it closed on this green day.
Wow. Okay, cool. So now we're looking for what?
We're looking for consolidation. We're looking for 2 days of consolidation before we can. What am I on? Oh, I'm on a 15-minute chart, right? So here's the all-time high.
This is how many days back? 5?
Yeah, yes. There are 6 days.
Okay.
Yeah. So, okay, it actually gapped up big, and then it was trying to consolidate. Here's the Facebook news, and it just plummets. But I think people didn't know what was happening, and people thought, well, okay, yeah, Facebook's going to compete, but Zoom is still going to be used all over the place, right? I mean, like here I am using Zoom. I never heard of Zoom until the other day, until like a
Well,
week or two ago. I
yeah,
never even heard of it.
but how cool is this program though? I mean, this is amazing.
It's great, and not only that, but I also used it to talk to my sister recently. She lives in another state, and we used Zoom. So it's obviously people are using it.
Do you know they have 30 million new users?
I believe it, man. I'm one of them.
And did you know that Amazon provides them their cloud services?
No, I didn't know that.
Do you know that 45? Let me this I got to show you real quick. So I'm going to ask.
45% of their revenue comes from cloud service, right?
Yeah, but I want to show you this. If you haven't, go ahead and let me do this. Watch this. Now watch this. Look at this. You see that?
That is awesome.
Yes, it is, sir.
Amazon North America, Amazon International. Really? So
Yes.
they get 37% from American customers?
Yep.
That must be because internationally there's more competition, like Alibaba and maybe some
Yeah,
sites that I don't
probably.
even know
Yeah.
about.
but most people don't know that the majority is Amazon Web Services.
I just read that the other day.
Yeah, but this is why I'm being very bullish, because no one's even thinking about this, in my opinion.
Right.
Okay, so here we go. Let's go back to business.
Okay, so we saw consolidation, and you can see it starts right here. Right here at 167, there was a line in the sand drawn. However, that support is broken completely. And it's actually gapped down every day for the last 2 days. The last 2 days have both gapped down, and support has broken over and over again. So we're looking for consolidation, and then
Dude, this thing is tanking. It might hit that 126 today, dude.
it might. We'll have to see power hour, and then the Friday. We got to see what happens Friday. I don't know if I've got the balls to hold options on it over the weekend.
On Zoom?
Well, we're not going to anyway, because there's no way it can consolidate tomorrow. We'd have to wait till next week to make a really.
So now when you say consolidate, tell me what you're saying. It's got to have, did he say it's got to have 2 down days or what?
He said he's looking for 2 days in the same area, and what that means is that there's been 2 full trading days of price discovery, and it's trading within a defined range. So you can see it here: 416, 417, and 420. Oh, I guess 421. You see this range right here, about 150.
Mm-hmm.
There is certainly a lot of, well, back then there was a lot of, you could call it debate or dispute about how much this stock is worth, or just how much people are willing to pay for it. And it looked like the bears won. But then, see, I don't know. I don't know if there was some kind of news event. Maybe there was a press release saying we've got 30 million new users, right? Isn't that what you
Yeah.
told me?
Yeah.
Maybe maybe there was a press release and that's what caused the pump.
All right. So what are we? Okay, I just read this on Zoom. Listen to this.
Okay.
Zoom. Oh, you can't see my screen, can you?
No.
I'll just read
Not,
it to you.
yeah, I can hear you.
Zoom walks back claims that it has 300 million daily active users by The Verge. So it doesn't have 300 million like it said it did. Well, that means
When
everybody in the United States, like really,
when was that published?
just right now, 11 hours ago.
Okay.
All right, so keep reading. So this was published 11 hours ago. CBM, CNBC, Zoom walks back claims it's had 3 million daily active users. So that's what's happening right now. That bad news.
So what's the clarification? They have,
So I'll show you.
oh, was it 3 million, 30 million, or 300
No,
million?
no, they got. I said they got 30 million new, but they're saying that.
Okay, I see your screen.
So they're saying Zoom admits it doesn't have 300 million, but they did accumulate 30 million new users. But they don't have 300 million users. Does that make sense?
Yes, I just read on one of those captions. It says they're adding 3 million new users a day. Oh no, that's Google Meet. See that
So,
first headline on The Verge?
oh, where? Oh, this one?
Yeah. Yeah, let's check that out and see what's going on with this.
Oh, wow, Google Meet. Oh, I see. Yeah, I've been using that. My stepdaughter has been using Google Meet for her school stuff. So yeah, they're trying to cash in on they're trying to compete with Zoom also. And so is Microsoft, by the way. They've got a new platform that's works through Skype. So everybody's getting in on this.
Yeah, it's getting all these competitors. But still, on the chart, you can see that there was very little time spent.
Okay, reshare your screen with me.
Okay.
So is that your final analysis on this bad boy?
Mm, well, I want to talk about these gaps as it relates to Will's strategy.
Okay, let's do that.
So these gaps between 156 and 151, and then more gaps between 146 and 144, there was no time spent in price discovery. So we're not actually sure how the market would react to the price increasing to these levels again. That, to me, that's what it means. It means that because these gaps happened in the aftermarket and there was it wasn't liquid, and it could fill these gaps, and it likely will fill these gaps. And if it reaches these levels again, it could fill these gaps quickly. Now you are going to see some resistance around 150, right? And if I went long on this thing, let's say it consolidated at 135, and I went long on confirmation of support, I would be looking very carefully like a hawk at 150. And if it starts to reverse, I'd be getting out. You know what I mean? Now, if
So
it
Will would go to the trade tab. Let's go to the trade tab real quick. Keep that thought process.
okay,
And let's go out, 15 days.
okay.
And he would go look for put in Zoom because we've got
I was
Tesla's
wondering
moving.
why these things are so expensive.
Tesla's moving though. So Will would buy the 150, according to him. He'd buy the 150 call, which you have to add more strikes to see it.
So he would buy the one. This is something I've been very interested in.
So he would buy the one. Let me see. Well, why? Because he's expecting it to go there. See.
Okay, so let me change the Theo price. So the 150 call, let's say it consolidated today and I bought it, I'd pay $430 per contract, maybe 440.
Mm-hmm.
And then, oh, you know what? I got this thing wrong. Okay, but still, where were we? 150,
Well,
440.
here's what I think, though, real quick, Clifton. If you go up 3 points, how much is that option worth? Just go up 3 points, and it'll tell you.
Oh, one,
So if 10 contracts,
530.
you've made $1,000. Now
Oh,
let's
for 10 contracts, right? But
now
using this thing, if
let
you
me
bought
see.
this call and the price went up to 150,
Yeah, let's look.
these would be worth $10.60 each. Now you're not going to get that. You're going to get a little less because of the spread
So you went. So you just put in the Theo thing, and you put in plus 15, right?
to make it 150. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
used that before. I like that. Now let
Yeah.
me ask
Somebody
you this.
help me with
Now let
this.
me see. Tell me if this matches if you count 15 points up. So let's see what that does. Let me. I
Uh,
want to.
Down to one up to 135, right?
So was that right? What I said? Pretty
Yes,
close.
it
Pretty
says
close.
10, 10, and 970. I think the difference is that um the is it called the delta?
The delta.
The delta would be increasing
Yeah, it
slowly as
increases
we
every
go.
time. Every point, the delta goes up.
Right. So that explains why it would be worth more than the
Now go
135.
back to that Theo calculator, and does it adjust? Does it do the implied volatility? It did not. It doesn't matter.
No.
So you just do it one time, Theo calculator. You did, and then you put that column on the left, and then you just did the stock price adjust. Yeah, but my little thing is pretty good too. The way you just count points, and it's that. If that makes any sense to you?
And you actually have to change the date too because this is going to take 5 days, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus the
Oh,
weekend.
so wait, we need to do. Wait, we're assuming we have to go out to May 15th, though, right or not?
Well, it depends. So let's assume that we don't buy this till next week, so we'd be getting the 22 um, contracts, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this isn't going to tell us the full story because the implied volatility
Yeah, that's
will be
crazy.
different next week.
When is there? Do they have earnings? I'll tell you right now. Hold on.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Well, dude, we got to know that stuff. So.
150, 670 plus 15. And this would be like on the 10th, 150 call.
Yeah, earnings are June 3rd. So that's why the volatility is picking up because it's getting close to June 3rd. See?
Yeah, and I think Will's strategy is going to be to actually buy a shorter contract and really try to time this thing perfect and maximize. I think that's
Well,
what he's saying.
no, that is. And the reason I told you the 150 strike is that's what he said today. I don't know if you heard him say, I normally like to pick the call price where I think the stock's going to go to.
Well, let's go ahead and test that. Let's say just magically it went to 150 today and we were in. Okay, so the on the money calls would go up but 94%, right? That's our implied volatility, 15.96. We can make this perfect, but just since it's all theoretical, let's say the price goes up to almost 152, which is in our range. These would go up
10 bucks.
yeah, and the 150 call would go up $7.
Amazing. So that
Or
one has more.
$6, $6 rather.
So that has more percentage than the other stuff. See?
Way more, way more. And
Notice above Clifton, we see where it says ETB up by the price go up. Remember where I showed you hard to borrow?
yep,
E,
easy to
e,
buy.
easy to borrow, right?
Awesome.
All right.
Although it shouldn't be because the thing's tanking.
Now the thing the thing that I wanted to tell you was I didn't know if that had registered to you. that if the price target's 150, you go to the 150 call. That's very important to know. That's why I'm telling you that.
No, that hadn't occurred to me.
Well, that's why I wanted to cement it in.
But what about these El Cheapo contracts? You see, you're getting a 5x.
Do it. You could do it, but and so up 10 points. That look, it's gone up 100%, but it has to move. The stock's got to move 10 points for that thing to pay off.
Yeah, and then we're going to be looking out. So where did it go? Oh, this thing goes down in value somehow. These are garbage. Yeah, that's why they're so cheap.
Some people play those. Like I don't like to normally do those. All right, so now let's go back to your analysis. Hey,
Well,
Clifton, do you mind giving me your phone number?
No, I don't.
Let me text you real quick. My phone number is the Zoom meeting ID.
Oh,
So what's your area code? 460?
I'll send it to you in the Discord.
Oh, okay.
Did you get that?
Oh, right, cool. Let me copy. Let me see if I'm going to send you a quick text. My kid is singing now. Hilarious. Did you get my text?
Yeah, I did.
Cool. Create new contact.
Your name is Mark, right? Yeah, but you go by
Corky.
Corky.
Yeah, can you see my screen or not? I'm going to share my screen with you real quick. So I'm going to share here. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
You see this here?
Yeah.
So if you type, I just want to give you real quick. So if you type in, this was back in the days when I was a young pup here. So, these are my dance videos back in the day.
Is that you?
So I was a world champion many years. You see my name down here?
Yeah.
So now I'll show you my son, Mark. Now he's a beast. He's won this show many times. So I'll give you a funny one. I'm so sick of those guys. So this is Marky, but he's dressed up like a crazy guy right now.
Yeah. Oh man.
That's actually not a good one. But he does some cool shit. But now he writes music. He was on Jersey Boys. He played the main character. What was his name on Jersey Boys?
I'm not sure.
Oh my gosh. Let me see. Mark Ballas. So that's why I don't really like, I couldn't change my name because of the, Frankie Valli. That's who he played. So that's him he was in New York for many, many years, but now he looks like this now because he's writing music with his wife. And he looks totally different now. He looks like that's him and his wife. They just released a song. Anyway, that's it for me. I don't want to keep telling you, but
no, that's awesome. That's really cool.
That's my shit. So now let's go back to your chart analysis. Did we finish or go ahead and share?
Okay. I'm really, I'm taking my cues from Will here. He's
Definitely.
We want to see some consolidation, and then we're gonna, go long and hope to see these gaps fill once it finds support. But we want to wait for support and confirmation after consolidation. That's all.
So we are waiting for what? That's what I want to know. We're waiting for it to drop at that 126 price level. That's where he's willing to get in, and he's not backing down off that, according to him this morning.
No, from what I understand. Okay, do you see my screen?
Yeah.
He's looking for something like this. A few days where the price is stable, preferably 2 or more days. Not just one day, but at least 2 days. They could be green or red as long as the price is somewhat stable. So
Similar.
yeah, and because right now the thing's in free fall.
Right.
It's people are still speculating and shorting it and everything else.
And it's in free fall on volume too. Not so much volume, but a
Good value.
little. Pretty good.
Yeah, definitely.
What does that volume start? What does that say?
Today's up to 15 million
Fucking
shares.
hell, that's a lot, dude.
Yesterday was 22 million.
Now, are you done with that analysis?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Now type in Apple and let me show you this. You talk about something that repeats itself. So much money I keep giving back on because I haven't pulled the trigger, but that's why I want. Dude, just trading these big stocks back in. So let's see you do your analysis on this. So we're at 1 year day.
Okay, so I don't know what happened here. There was another stock that fell in.
All the Nasdaqs got blasted there. Who cares? Like,
You don't remember why?
personally, I don't, but I don't really care anymore because the COVID thing reset everything.
Yeah, you're right.
I know
Okay.
everybody's saying, "Oh, I like it. It fucking matters nothing." Like I told that poor kid this morning, half these companies are going broke. Chesapeake Oil filed for bankruptcy today.
You know what's funny? I looked into them when I first started. I actually live in the Chesapeake Bay watershed,
Mm.
and I don't know why they're called Chesapeake because I don't think they're around here. But I looked into them when they were a penny stock, which was very recently because they had a reverse 200-to-1 split. And I watched it all through that, and I watched it. They split, and they were like 20 some bucks after they split. It got shorted all the way down to 10 bucks. And then and I'm not even sure why, but when oil hit zero, I think that triggered some interest in them. I don't know if maybe they have storage or something. And the price soared from 10 to 45. And now I think it's just plummeting. I mean, I could take a look, but let's focus on Apple.
Yeah, I just want you to see how this thing. We talk about history repeats itself.
But basically, okay, in 2018, there was the the trade war with China and the stock market took a hit. And then there was what they call the bond yield divergence. This is when 3-year bonds were paying more interest than 5-year bonds, which should never happen. And from what I've read, there was a flight out of the stock market into bonds, which makes sense because if you're managing billions of dollars and you can buy a guaranteed bond with a
Mm-hmm.
3% interest rate, that's pretty good. I mean, if you have billions of dollars,
Yeah.
now you're beating inflation, which is a negative interest rate essentially, and you're growing your wealth. But so that's what apparently happened. And then we continued to have the biggest bull market ever. It's basically been raging since 2009, all the way to January, where stocks were hitting all-time highs. I mean, especially tech stocks. Then you have uncertainty. China's locking down. Fear, uncertainty, doubt, right? Plummets.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's this? I guess people said Apple's worth more than 270, right? I mean,
I was so tempted to pull the trigger there. I did not.
this was a FOMO candle, right? Somebody,
Amazing.
probably large institutional investors, start buying with high
You
volume.
know what? I want to believe that Warren Buffett said he bought a couple of million shares that day or something like that for Berkshire Hathaway or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that was our and Mark Cuban piled on. They all piled on that day.
Anyway, right here in mid March is what looks like was the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
unless of course we have another leg down.
Let's draw a trend line there. So look how many tries to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at all those candles to the left. So can you do the price level there?
Yeah.
It's over there on the left.
Where do you want to put it, here or
Where what's the
here?
previous? What's the previous? Whatever. Yeah, right there. The
The
close.
lowest the lowest closing price was 224.
All right.
Now, it did wick down all the way to 210. However, that's
But that's where it closed, right?
yeah, and nobody thought it was worth less than this, right? I mean, this was just got bought. The
No,
people
because
who
look
sold
left.
here,
Look at how many times those candles have hit that yellow line. Look, count.
1, 2, 3. That's all on this chart.
Right. But my point is, and look at the ones underneath it. They were almost there. Like I know you don't want to count those, but I'm talking about
These
right.
reaching candles.
Yeah, those reaching candles. Look, look at that.
Yeah.
That's you know, even if you lowered that, that would be more of the level. If you lowered it on top of all those little reaching candles.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. So
Yeah.
whatever,
Maybe even maybe right here is
right
the
there.
telling candle.
I like that. So
221.
so we know that 220 is amazing. All right, cool. So now this thing has been trading. It's down, then it's up 6 points. It's down. It's been when it pops. Look at the gap up. Let's talk about the gap there. Look at the gap. The first gap from the down red candle. No, the next candle is green.
Right
That's
here.
one
This.
gap.
Yep.
So would we put it a line there or not? I'm asking.
Um. Well,
Because look, it has not filled that gap yet, and it ain't going to because it gapped up again, and it gapped up again. This was a gap down, gap up, and another gap up after that.
that's true. That's true. And then a gap here. Although this
And
gap
now
fills.
that's the gap I'm thinking about right now. Because now I think when it comes back to my drawing line in the sand is 275.
That makes sense.
And look at the gap down when it tapped out at 327, but I don't think it's going to see 327 anytime soon. Might be wrong. The reason I like this is look when it went down to the red candle. You see the red, they got downgraded. I think that was that day Goldman Sachs. It went down to like 260 something.
Okay.
But look what it's gone. It's gone up 30 points since then.
Yeah, those downgrades and upgrades are a bit of a joke from what I've seen.
Dude, that's because they're shorting the stock.
Yeah, they are. They are. They short it and then they downgrade it.
Yeah, fucking
And then
assholes.
they take profit into the people who are.
Yes, and then to the rest of us get yanked. So check that out. So you like 275, and let's draw the bottom line of that candle. So what was the gap up there? Do you see that right there? You see that green candle gap up?
273 to 277.
Right. It just popped like that, and so how many candles till? So if you back up, there's 3 candles, a gap, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles in a gap, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles, 6, 7. There's been no gaps for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, a small gap down here.
Oh, okay, good.
But
So let's count how many days between each gap. Let's see if we can predict the gap now. That'd be interesting. So this thing's going to gap down. What is today?
gap
Is
down
today Thursday or
1,
Friday?
2. Today's Thursday.
Okay.
1 day, 2 day, 3 day. Oh, actually, there's a gap down here.
Right there. Yeah.
So 1 day.
So it's like every 4 days it gaps.
There's a gap up here. Doesn't look like it from the candle. But
Yeah,
actually,
it's hard for me to see with your candles, but I'm starting to learn how to. I actually kind of like these candles.
Yeah, and the price line is covering up the white line, but it's right here.
Oh, right. So that was a gap.
So
Here's where I'm a little confused. Does Will draw a line at all the gap ups or gap downs? He does, right?
I think okay, so here's to my understanding, he uses the previous day's closing price as the strongest indicator. However, okay, for Apple, this is a very strong indicator because it's at a local high. It hasn't been this high in
a long time.
over a month, right? In really almost 6 weeks or something like that.
So
Well,
it's
no, not 6 weeks. Yeah, 6 weeks or more.
So this sucker's due a little pullback, or it could break through that sucker.
But so what he places importance on is, like okay, this previous closing price, if we were flashback 2 days, this would not be as important as this, for the simple reason that we're inside of a range. So there's already price history and there's reference points. But right now we're in no man's land, right? So
Mm-hmm.
the volatility from this point is going to be high. Whereas in this point, investors and traders can look and see what kind of reaction the market had to different price points. And then so he looks for local or all-time highs and lows, right? So this high is much more important than this high, than yesterday's high, because yesterday's high is basically exploring, retreading the same water that it retread 4 or 5 days ago. But
Look, if you look,
today,
and if you look even back, it's hit that level many, many, many times.
yes, yeah. So this, but yeah, if you go back, and then as far as the gaps go, he's interested in um, gaps that have not been filled are much more important than gaps that have been filled. So this gap is less important than this gap, right? Because this
So
had a gap up.
which one is less important?
The most this recent gap
Yeah.
is was
That,
filled. It was already filled on the 21st.
okay. And that other gap below is not, unless it
This,
goes up, unless it comes all the way back down to fill that gap. Wow, wouldn't that be a time to get in?
yeah. So if the price is sticky or whatever, and then if we see a low, say around 265,
Mm-hmm.
now it's hard to imagine Apple. However, if the market crashes again,
Yeah.
but if we do see a new local low, now we start looking at these unfilled gaps.
So,
And people who are inexperienced, I'm inexperienced, I'm learning a lot, they would say, oh, why don't you short it up here? Oh,
mm-hmm.
because we have no idea, because this stock could keep going up. There's no gaps to fill, and we just don't know. We have to follow the price action. But if we were to drop down here into this territory, now this gap is in play, as is this one. Well, this one got filled, but not.
So this is not a short or a long, in my opinion. That's crazy.
Yeah, right now you're seeing lower volume. Of course, we're going to see that. I mean, we're not going to see the same volume that we had in mid-March
Now
until
let me show you something
the
interesting.
next crisis.
As an example, I'm gonna ask to remote control you for a second.
Okay.
I'll show you something very interesting. So if you went to the trade tab, let's say a trade tab. Now you may not be interested in this, but I'm just going to show you anyway. Apple, and we're going to go 30 days out, and I'm going to only do 20 strikes. Well, no, let's leave these wide ones for a second. So let's go back to the chart for 1 second. So the 320 and the 220. So let's just take a look. So this is called, as an example, let me go back here. Where is the trade tab? So let's say I want to bet that Apple's going to do what? Go up. So I can buy a vertical spread, right? And I'm betting that the stock's going to go up, right?
Yeah.
And then if I buy, I'm going to hit over here blast all, so you can see several orders. Then I'm going to go over here and buy. Let's say I'm betting the stock's going to go down, right? So I could buy this vertical. Sorry, I could buy this vertical, and that's betting the stock's going to go down. So both these are betting the stock goes down, right? And they're green. You see that? They're both green. This is betting it's going to go up. This is betting it's going to go down. Okay, big shit. So now let me delete that. Now let's say it right here. I'm going to say right where the stock is, buy an iron condor. So what this does, you have to change your strikes, but just as an example,
Do you still want that vertical in there?
no, I don't. So oh yeah, because I put blast all. I was wondering what's going on here. Delete. So now watch, I'm going to click this sucker back and right click, and create opposite order, delete, and So now I'm betting, I'm not betting, but I'm saying the stock's going to trap. So if we look at the chart, I wouldn't do this with Apple, but you sell a credit call spread here and you sell a put spread down here. You take the credit, and if the stock stays in between the two spreads, you've kept the entire credit. So you do that with slower stocks, like for example, AT&T that trades sideways.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were to, so that's what an iron condor strategy is. I don't know if you find that helpful or not.
Well, I do. I've been really interested in these other
But see,
kinds of.
that's a 238. That's a 238. That's a 238 credits, which is $238, and times two, $400 times. Obviously you get that. But that's another strategy. That's all I'm telling you. So let's go back to our chart. So that again, you'd sell something up here in the 340 and sell something down here in the 200. So you've got all that. You've got all that room. It can't hit both strikes either. It's going to hit one or the other. Anyway, so this thing looks like 275 could be a decent buy near term. That's definitely a good buy. And we're pretty much to 304. Wow, that is the. Does it have resistance at 304? If it breaks 300, that sucker goes.
Let me just zoom in. There we go. Sorry about that. You can.
No, that's good.
I just couldn't see.
That's really good. The only reason I've said that is look how this thing has, look how that red candle, it went down to, it went down. That's where I should have bought that thing. It popped big time from that 270 range. And then the next day it went way down, and then look how much it gapped up. That big red candle, the third one in from the last, that red one, that's when that was another, no, the one to the end, to the far right, that one. They'd said, where did that finish at? Where did that close at? 280?
Yep, 278. Yep.
Yeah, that they got they got some other bad news. Like, I don't remember what it was, but that's a quick 10-point pop, dude.
Yeah, huge.
All right, well, this has been awesome, dude. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Let's get PJ in here and anybody else who's as motivated as we are.
Yeah, I'd like to meet PJ. That other guy, there's another guy called Day Trader. He seems like he knows a lot of stuff. I was talking to him this morning.
Yeah, I've seen his posts. I haven't talked to him yet. Have you noticed the voice channel
I
in
don't.
Will?
Well, okay, I'm looking at that. I don't even know what I'm looking at.
If you just click on where it says general, and do you see how I'm in that room now?
Where? I'm looking
Let
there.
me. Are you looking at my screen still?
Oh, sorry. I was looking on a separate computer, right? Because that stupid disk thing keeps crashing my computer. Okay, now I'm looking. Yeah. Okay.
Right here.
So what do I do there?
This is the voice chat.
Okay, hold on. So what does that do? I'm clicked on your name. What does that mean?
Go ahead and you should hear me echoing probably now, right?
Testing 1, 2, testing.
Okay. You
Hey,
probably have.
Clifton, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you in Zoom, but I don't hear you. It says authenticating.
Authenticating.
General/Will. Oh, maybe Will. Does Will have to approve it?
No, I don't believe so. You may have to go into your settings. You may have push to talk on, and you may have to find out what key that is. Oh, I think I heard you.
Testing 1. Yeah, 1. Hello?
Yep,
Hello?
I can hear you.
Okay, I'm going to turn it off, but that's
Yep.
cool. So you mean we can talk there?
Yeah, and this is multiple people you can join. Here, do you see the little disconnect button? It's a picture of a phone with an X. It says voice connected.
Yeah.
So I'm going to click that, and that's how you get out of here. It took me a long time to figure that out. So
Okay, I just turned it off.
that's where people have been sort of congregating.
Well, hold on. How do I go back in there? Oh, I'm in there now.
Yep.
Okay, now
And
you go in there. That's
Okay.
badass, dude. Can you hear me, Clifton?
Yep, sure can.
Wow. Testing one.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, so I'm gonna get out of here because it's
Me too.
echoing. But you know, that's a place where people can congregate, and it's very easy to get in and out, and it's more casual. And then if you want to do something like what we've done, we can either use Discord screen share, or somebody can set up a Zoom chat room. I think this.
The Zoom's better because we can draw, you can record. I mean, I think it's better personally.
Now, here's a question for you. Is there a way in Thinkorswim for me to draw freehand?
You know, there is not. But what I do, well, you don't have a Mac, so I would use, it's called, for you, I think it's called Snagit.
Okay.
So let me switch screens with you. I'll show you something really cool. So I'm going to share, I'll stop participant, and I'm going to share my screen. You're going to see, hold on, I'll just share. Okay, let me drag this bad boy back in here. So watch, I'm going to, I'm going to come up here, crosshair, like this. And now this is what I sent to you in the message. So I'm able to, see, I'm going to get this square like this. I can like put that, you know, you can't see what I'm doing, but I can like, watch how it gets fuzzy because I don't want you to see it. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Then I can make circles. Remember when I sent you that hard to borrow thing?
Yep.
And then didn't I send you one about how to fill orders or something?
Yes.
So that's how I did it. And the program for you is called Snagit by
Okay.
Tech Smith. But that's how I do it. I'm not actually drawing on the charts. I take a picture and then I draw the lines like that.
I'm surprised Thinkorswim doesn't have a simple paintbrush tool.
I wish they did, but I think you talk about screwing up the memory. It's probably why they haven't done it. Thank God this
Oh,
bitch, look at this. This baby's getting propulsion. You see those little dots?
yep.
That means it's got legs, dude. When you don't see those dots mean this little bastard's fucking moving. God damn, if I'd have had the balls, I should have bought right there, but I just don't have the balls to do it. Like, see, look at the squeeze there. You see how it's squeezed? And then bam!
Mm-hmm.
And then this thing was telling you, buy, 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 buy. This little indicator right here was going, come on, fucking buy, 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 you bastard, buy. Look at space. Space is cooking over here.
I made a really bad trade with space. I have an option on space, and my plan was to hold it till Friday,
Mm.
and that was a bad plan. I should have gotten out today at open when I saw it go against me, but I thought no, it's a really long contract, and
Dude, it might pop tomorrow. I mean, look, it's at the bottom of, well, it went pretty good. Dude, it's got propulsion. Okay, let me maximize this. When you see those little dots on my thing,
yeah.
look at that. Look when the dots, you see where the dot started? It started telling you right here. And then it crossed, this moving average crossed. And now look, it's above the yellow, which is a 20. And when those greens don't touch, look, now it gets a bit dangerous. It's getting into the blue, but now it's above the green, 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 green. This little motherfucker's moving right now. I don't know what it's going to do tomorrow, but, and see, these are the ticks of the overall market. You see this down here?
Yeah.
Negative, S&P, this is the Russell. You know, look at that. Look at the damn NASDAQ got its ass kicked today.
Yeah.
And Amazon is cooking. So it's holding up the NASDAQ because remember, I showed you it was weighted. So that's looking good. Now let's put in, well, it's starting to come in now. Look, see, now if those dots disappear, those dots tell you that when you ever see these dots come up, that means volume is huge.
Mm-hmm.
But now it looks like it's,
Hey man, look at I&O.
all right.
Remember, I was saying there
Ooh, shit.
might be a reversal at 12 with these
Yes.
candles. However, I think the news is out on this stock. I think people know this is a garbage stock. So I wouldn't want to go long on it anymore, like
Now look,
forever.
look at this. It's got, see the dots? It's got propulsion pushing it down.
Yes, yes.
And now, well, it's starting to reverse a little bit, but
Yeah,
I,
my notes say watch for a reversal at 12. But I don't,
mhm.
I just, I think that people have figured out that this stock is baloney.
Well, let's take a look at this bad boy. That sucker's got propulsion, man. It's going to finish higher today, I think. It's going higher. Although, wait, propulsion's reversing. So we'll see. These assholes, right when it gets to 786, they start shorting the shit out of it. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 or 8 candles on that 8. It doesn't, they like to kill it at that, this level here. Okay, so you see my Darvis box, yellow, 792. Here's another one, 786. It gets, that's a huge resistance. Here's another one at 784, and here's another one at 780. You see the purple and the yellow?
Yes, I do.
So see how quick it's calculating the resistance? But look, right, look, it's got propulsion. And look, it's got propulsion on that down. This bad boy is getting slow and macked right now.
Yeah, it makes me sad.
Don't be sad. You're going to be fine, dude.
I spent the first month just taking a survey course of the stock market, trying to learn. I tried to learn how stocks are evaluated. Of course, I know it's simply an auction, and that the
Well, that's
ticker
what I see.
tracks
That's what
the
I like
date.
about. That's what I like about Will. Fuck all that shit. When you're day trading, none of that shit matters. It doesn't.
Yeah, well, what I'm trying to say though is, when I first got into this,
Oh,
I
okay.
was I was gonna invest.
Oh,
I thought, hey, the market's down huge. That's a great time to invest. And I was doing fundamental analysis of different companies. And then,
okay.
and then somebody told me, he said, have you looked into options? This is a real life buddy of mine, one of my poker buddies. And I said, no. He said, look into options. Options are where it's at. And I started reading about them. I learned about how you can manage your risk with a leveraged position. It's really interesting.
And 12 times the earning potential. And that's not a lie. 12 times the earning potential. Like I was watching these guys on Amazon, on this Amazon board. Oh, bought 2 shares of Amazon. Okay, so they spent $4,000. They could have bought a vertical spread, 10 contracts, and still had money in their pocket.
There's there's two stocks that I am very bullish on.
Which
Uh,
ones?
There's one, it's called FPH.
Oh, what is that?
It's called 5 Points Housing. And what I look for is companies that I can understand. They're simple. Like if you look at a company like DuPont, or a
Mm-hmm.
company like,
Clorox.
or if their scope is too big, if they have too many products, too many markets, too many employees, it just boggles my mind. I don't want to invest in them because I don't know what the risks are. 5 Point Holdings, okay, they own about 17,000 acres in California. They
No
have
shit.
a 15,000 acre plot of land around a river that's 35 minutes north of LA. It's directly between two major airports. It runs on a major interstate between Mexico and Canada, and um, they're developing whole communities. They have commercial and residential. They're building the roads. They're building the parks. The reason that I didn't invest, okay, they also, by the way, they have $500 million almost going into COVID. They have $500 million. They have variable pricing, which means they're not going to get screwed or like price hiked up on them. And I've been watching them, and they've pretty much skyrocketed the last few days because um, a major institution bought a ton of their shares essentially 2 days ago.
I
And
see that.
I'm just watching them. I don't want to jump in because you would expect to have some kind of pullback. Of course, they pulled back to 5 this morning.
Yeah, look at that. The resistance on this bitch is 361. So you and it's got propulsion down. This is a day. This is a 9-month day. So you see when the propulsion dots were telling you, they see how they started turning down, and that
Yeah.
thing was touching that moving average.
Yeah. And the reason that the stock is not done well is because California has really strong laws, and essentially it takes forever for them to get through um, to get permits, right? To get legislation on their side. They've also had some problems where
Here
they
goes the bell. Amazon closed at 24.68. Will got out too early.
and what do you have to hold through tomorrow, right? For your
Yeah, but I have to be above 23.15.
so you're looking pretty good right now.
I hope so. Yeah. I mean, if they miss earnings and it goes down 200 points, I'm fucked.
So 5 points. If you notice back in January, the price went from basically 6 to 9.
Yeah, I'm looking at this.
That's because they sold their first 800 houses. They
Wow. How did
finally,
you discover this?
um, I was going through hedge fund managers 10F
Oh,
reports.
nice. You were going through the hedge fund managers buys?
Yes, and I found that Michael Burry, he's famous. He had this. I said, "What is this?" And I looked into it, and then I went to the company, and I got their 10Q or their 10K, which is the yearly reports. And those, I don't know if you've ever read one of those, but you can
No.
tell a lot about a company by how that's written. If it's a bunch of buzzwords, run. If they tell you in very clear language what their business is, what their risks are, and then things like that, if it's very clear and concise, that to me is a hugely positive sign that the management actually cares about the business, right? I was reading GameStop's latest 10K this morning at like 4 a.m. Because that's a very volatile stock right now. I was wondering, how to play it long term, how to play it short term. Their annual report, it's all buzzwords. It's all they don't actually say how they're going to reform the company. You know, they say, oh, they're going to turn GameStop into like this experience where people can hang out. I'm like, bro, that's not going to work because all the kids are on the internet these days. They're not going to hang out in the GameStop.
No, they're not. Just like Doug and Buster, some idiot bought 1,000 contracts on Dave and Buster's. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
um, so
So,
I'm very bullish on this stock. I want to, but the housing market could collapse in a few months.
yeah, I was gonna say I was a little worried about what you just said.
So that's why I didn't pull the trigger because I said I'm going to wait and see. But now you see the institutional
What's it
investors
called?
selling.
What was it? FCH?
FPH, 5 Points Holdings.
All
Now,
right. So, can you see my screen?
yes.
So this bad boy tells you what share value is, what, 4 cents a share,
What is
and
that? Is that the EPS?
it says 5 point holding. So earnings per share is 4 cents,
Okay.
and book value per share is $4.13. And let's see, sales per share 82.
No, book value per share. That's if you liquidated the whole company, correct?
Right.
Yes, because they have 17,000 acres, dude, in
That's amazing.
California, and it's
And
beautiful.
that's
It's
huge.
beautiful
That's
land.
huge.
It's beautiful land. It's great land. Now here they had a lot of problems though. Okay, they bought a lot of their land from the Navy. The Navy used to have more Navy bases than they do today. They closed some of them down for various reasons. And what happened was, and this could be a boon for 5 Points actually. The California required the Navy to have environmental safety inspectors come in and approve the sale of the land and say this land is safe to build residential homes on, right?
Mm.
They did that. This was a few years ago. They got the approval, 5 Points, developed some houses and sold some houses, right? They normally they sell the land to a home developer, and it's a little complicated, but they're developers. Those people found out, the people that bought the homes, that there was pollution. There was some sort of chemical pollution. They sued 5 Points. 5 Points turned around and said, we've got this deal with the Navy and the US government. They're liable. And so now 5 Points is suing the government. And you know what? They're going to win. 5 Points isn't going to lose on this deal, because California is the one that failed. The Navy and California and the inspectors that the Navy hired. But anyway, it doesn't matter because that's only about 500 acres. They have 16,500 acres. Well, they actually have another problem on like 500 acres, but they got 15K good acres. Oh, and here's more good news on 5 Point Holdings. One of their planned communities already has a medical complex on it. I forget what company it is. It's a major company, and that company is planning to expand. And with this COVID virus, that company has received a ton of funding. So they're planning on expanding quicker. So you see, 5 Points isn't just developing homes. They have all this commercial space, some of which they're leasing. They're also coordinating.
Check this out. You see this here?
Yes.
O2, every year up. Well, this is not a bad year.
Yeah, 2017. Yeah, because they have negative years when they're developing and then positive years when they're selling.
Amazing, dude. You did your due diligence on this thing, didn't you?
I've done this on like 7 or 8 stocks, and it takes me about
I was going to say,
7 hours.
amazing, just amazing, dude. That is excellent.
This is the only one that I think is 100% solid. I also looked and found interviews with the CEO. I wanted to see the cut of his jib. I wanted to think if he was a trustworthy person. It seems like a good guy to me. He speaks clearly. He doesn't I don't think he's a liar. He doesn't lie. You get straight answers from him.
Amazing. Fucking amazing, dude.
Now there's one other company that I'm also bullish on. And
so Cliff, you seeing how on analyze fundamentals, tell me the other company. You see how you can see all this in here? I don't know if you could see it, if you're interested in this.
I'm actually following along with you on my screen.
Okay, good. And look, here's your quarterly too. There's the quarterly and there's the annual.
The other company is called SPWH.
Hold on.
Sportsman's Warehouse.
Hey, so let's check something. I just want to see on the NASDAQ. Remember, we put that E-mini contract down. What was the price? Do you remember, or do I have to look it up?
It was 20.
No, it was 79. It wasn't 20. It was like let me see if I can find that fucking paper.
I've got them all up in front of me.
Oh, 89.20.
Oh yeah, now it's at 89.15.
That went down, dude. So that wouldn't have worked out.
Yeah, but we would have only lost $10 or something.
Well, you might have dumped it when it was at 89.50 though, too.
Yeah, true.
And if you look at Amazon, how about this? Amazon, look at that, 24.74, fucker.
So,
up 100 points.
Oh, right. I got a letter from 5 Point Holdings.
Okay.
Because I signed up for this came out a couple of days ago. It's a letter from the CEO. He said, in 2008, we learned some valuable lessons, right? The housing crash. He said, rest assured that we know exactly what we're doing. We're pinching every penny. We've got $500 million. Our long-term senior debt notes don't expire or don't come due until 2025. He said, don't worry about a thing. Don't worry about a thing.
Yeah, this guy, he knew you were a shareholder?
Yeah, I signed up for the press releases and such.
I'm impressed, dude. But amazing DD, amazing.
Check out this other. There's only one other company
Tell
that
me.
it's Sportsman's Warehouse, SPWH. This company, they've on average opened 10 new stores a year. Okay, it's like a Dick's Sporting Goods or a Cabela's. It's a sporting
Mm-hmm.
goods store. They serve shit. They got stores in Alaska. They're all over the country, all rural areas. In fact, 90% of Americans live within 45 minutes of a Sportsman's Warehouse. Okay,
Wow.
they open 10 new stores a year on average. They It takes them 2 years to turn a profit, to pay off all the debt that they take on when they open a new store. Just two
No,
years. That's pretty good.
fantastic.
That is pretty good. Yeah. They had something happen in 2019. I forget what it was, but they completely recovered in January, and they were going to have a blockbuster year. Okay, the stock tanked.
Mm.
Now I was a little late on this one. I only listened to this conference call a couple of days ago. I listened to the conference call, the latest one. It was it was in March. Okay, I think it was not that long ago. Let me just find out because I want to give you the accurate information. Where is my show corporate actions? Okay, it was March 26th.
Okay, now share your screen with me because I can't see it.
Do you see this?
Yep.
March 26th. Now I was late on this because I actually I think bearish on this, and I just thought, they're going to get wrecked. Nobody's going to spend any money. I listened to this conference call, and this is what the guy said. He said, because Walmart no longer sells ammunition
Oh.
and mostly doesn't sell guns, they're seeing huge amounts of new customers, right?
So they sell ammunition and guns.
Yeah, and camping supplies, sporting goods stuff. Um, okay, this is what he said. This was March 26th. Now, a handful of their stores were closed. Most of their stores are open. He said the amount of customers that they're getting is unprecedented. They've never had such good business. They're making more money than ever before. Not only that, but in the face of COVID, they're scheduled to open 2 new stores. This is a surprise stores. They said we're doing so good that we're going to open 2 more this year than we had even planned.
That's crazy, dude.
And
Do they do any online stuff or not?
they do. They do. They have so that they have curbside pickup for people who are scared to come in the store but still want to buy guns and ammo.
Cowards.
You pull up
That's funny as shit.
DMC Yukon or whatever, and a guy comes out and hands you a box of ammo or whatever. So I had planned to get in this today,
No
and
way. Oh wow.
I was
Let's check
going
it.
to this.
Show me the options chain on that sucker.
Well, I think it's a little.
Is it terrible?
I'm not. Yeah, look at these. Well, it's
No,
aftermarket.
no. Put in the symbol. The symbol's not
Oh,
there.
right. It's hard to tell aftermarket because this
Wow,
is
that's so this thing's got to move to make money. It's got to move.
yeah. I
Well, the
mean,
only reason I say that is because
high volatility.
it's the only thing I say it's 20 cents to get out and $1 to get in. So that's 80. You're down 80 cents when you buy the option.
Uh, well, it's after hours, so you can't see the true spread.
Oh, okay.
The true spread could be better than this or not as good, but the volume is what we want to see.
Son of a bitch.
So let's see
That you're better off buying the stock on this, in my opinion.
It's only, it's less than 1 million shares a
Let me
day.
ask you a question. Let's see what a 2021 call cost at. So that's what I would do. I'd buy a leap. Let's see what that does. Oh,
I don't even see, and nobody's even written one.
yeah. So okay. So October 20th is $1.80. Oh man. So the 10. What's it at now? 7. So,
716, yeah. And I'm hoping
dude,
for another
that could go
pullback
back to
to get in.
say again.
I'm hoping for another pullback so that I can get into these companies.
And it could fill that $8.90 gap.
Oh yeah, dude, this is definitely gonna fill. Look, it actually reached up there a couple days ago, but
Wow. I think that's amazing how you research these companies. Good job, man.
thanks, dude. Yeah, but then I learned about these options, and I said, okay, I need to refocus because we don't know what the market's going to do. I need to be able to play both sides. I need to be able to play this short-term volatility.
Dude, this is going to be, options are going to be amazing for the next 12 months. I can tell you that right now. Especially if you just focus on these big companies. Like if we know like what Will's doing, he zeroed in on Amazon, he zeroed in on Zoom. The Tesla, every time he touches that, it has been working against him. But hey, he's human.
Dude, DraftKings. Oh my God, this this stock. Okay, we'll probably have to wait for earnings, and then we'll have to see what if football season's going to happen. But if it does, this is going to be a pump. This is an IPO. IPOs normally drop in value because they don't make much money. But I think
When did they
DraftKings
open? They just opened.
24th, yeah, a week ago.
I
They
use that. I play that all the time.
everybody does, dude. I think they're making lots of. How do they make their money?
I don't know, to be honest. I just do my deal and that's it. I don't know, but I know I use it and all my buddies use it. We're
Is it
all,
advertising money?
yeah, maybe. Maybe they shave off a penny here, a penny there on our bets,
Yeah, probably.
like a broker does. But I'm a New England Patriots diehard. Are you a Giants fan or what?
I don't follow sports at all.
Okay, no problem.
Here's some more. I'm bullish on QCOM.
Me too. I love that company, dude.
Okay, yeah, QCOM,
5G,
and you can see here,
65. Wow, yeah.
96. You can see that the market was bullish on QCOM before COVID. Now, I thought I had some notes on this. I guess they went away. Um, they're expecting to have bad cell phone sales, right?
Yep.
Because everybody buys their chips. Everybody's Apple,
Everybody, yeah. You know,
Samsung.
what tore it down was Apple had sued them, and then Apple left them and got their own chips. Are you iPhone or Android?
I'm Android,
What kind you
but
got? Samsung or what kind of phone you have?
what is this? I think it's an LG.
Oh, cool.
I'm not sure. It's a it's one of the cheapest ones I could find, but you know what? Actually, this is a Samsung. It's a Samsung Galaxy. I like it because it was a
Yeah,
big up.
dude,
It was a big upgrade for me.
they're amazing phones.
Do you see this pump in October?
Yeah,
This huge pump. This is when they settled their lawsuit
with
with
with Apple.
Apple. You can see
Right.
that the insiders knew. This is insiders
Well, why do you say that?
because they didn't announce this shit until like the 23rd.
Oh,
Now
jerks.
you've got this pump,
And how
and
is
then
that legal?
there's no proof. There's just
Mm.
no proof. And then here's the press release, and then explosion.
God, how much volume is that candle?
30 million. Yeah. Um, what else do I have? Kern, another one I missed out on.
I like
Not really.
Kern.
Oh, you know Kern?
I had some buddies watching this.
They're a
I don't know the fundamentals, but I know that they were trading it.
they lose money, right? Okay, but
Mm,
basically what they do is they provide software specifically focused on marijuana,
mm,
and their business model is they sell software to companies that sell it and to state and federal governments. Now, This provides a very easy method of accounting and taxation. The whole point of marijuana is for the state to tax the shit out of it, right? That's the only reason why it's
Yeah,
become
it's actually better for them just to buy it how they always buy it. I mean, it doesn't do them any good. If it was, you would think they'd offer the product cheaper, but no, they're like whatever,
exactly. But the reason, and normally I would hate a company like Kern because
right?
they don't produce any value for anybody. But the reason I'm bullish on them is because the state loves a company like this. They've got their diversity CEO, they've got their do nothing staff, they've got this horrible software that you have to buy. And then it's a subscription model, which is great. Subscriptions are great because
Hmm.
it's your EPS just goes up and up and up as more and more people get on board. It's very stable, very predictable, and the company can make very easy decisions because they know how much their income is going to be. It's not like the actual weed companies who have supply chain disruptions. Whether weed makes or loses money, Kern makes money. In theory, as you can see, they haven't made any money yet.
Right.
They're still losing money because there hasn't been widespread adoption. The reason that there hasn't been widespread adoption is because the same problem with 5 points housing. Legislation, policymakers move incredibly slowly, right? Uh,
Amazing.
have you ever heard of ACB? It's a famous weed stock.
No, I have not, sir. You're teaching me stuff here.
It's a penny stock today
Hmm.
because they took out, they had their IPO or whatever. They raised money the last few years, and this thing pumped. Let's look it up. Okay, back in 2000. Well, we need to go back even further. Okay, they were nothing. They were a penny stock. This is back when people were talking about legalizing weed. 2017, right? They raised all this money. They raised so much money. And what did they do with it? They became the biggest supplier of marijuana. It's a Canadian-based company.
Mm.
They have greenhouses all over the world. They have an enormous infrastructure. Why is the stock tanking? Because
Mm.
they have overpaid so badly to capture the market share. So that's their plan. Their plan is to be the biggest supplier of weed.
Okay, just real quick, type in MJ, and this is an ETF marijuana stock. That's an ETF, and look at, and then type in the other one's called MOLO. So this is a whole ETF.
Molo,
MOLO. Sorry, YOLO.
YOLO. This is another ETF.
But see how that anything with marijuana is getting pounded on. I don't know why. That's what I was gonna.
Here's why. Okay, Canada implemented their policy to open up weed stores. This was about a couple years ago. Until basically Christmas or so last year, they had only opened like 17 stores or something like that. It was calculated that they would need 800 stores to satisfy the demand. And so it killed the industry because it's too slow. It's too slow. You had people like ACB growing literally millions of pounds of pot and nowhere to sell it. Um, that's all changed though. In the last like 6 months, the number of stores selling weed in Canada went from like 17 to like 105, and it's going to keep growing. So this is really now the time. However, ACB is diluted. They've diluted their shares so many times.
And they're also, what is this one?
ACB, this is the big boy. They have the biggest market share in
And do
terms
you,
of.
is this another one you're watching?
No, I'm the company is just so poorly run. They raised all this money and they paid huge premiums I mean, look, they paid like $200 million for this one greenhouse, and then they realized they had way too much. They couldn't sell all their product, and they sold it for like $17 million because they blew all their money, dude. They blew all their money. They gambled. They weren't conservative. They, I mean, come on. They should have asked me. I would have told them that legislation takes a long time, right? It takes
Mhm.
forever for these states to move on things. So you have to
Right.
give it time. You have to, anyway. No, I'm not bullish on them. This is an interesting one. iHeartRadio.
Oh yeah, I like them. Yeah.
So this company um was bankrupt. How do I go back a few years? This company was bankrupt. Okay. They went bankrupt. See, there's a gap here. This is March 15th, 2018. Re-enters the stock market 14 months later. They got bought out. Um, the company that bought them liquidated a bunch of their assets. They've paid off 2/3 of the debt. They have about $5 billion in debt. Do you see here?
Yes.
This is my calculation. We're going to find out in 1 week.
Wow, made 20 million.
My estimate is 33 cents. They made
Mhm.
$20 million. Now that's a tiny margin. Their revenue was like $3.6 billion.
No way. In ads?
Yes, in ads. Now they do a little bit more than ads, but like 80% of their revenue comes from radio ads, just radio. So this company used to lose money I mean, they lost $700 million in one quarter. I think this one. And then they said, "Oh, we're losing too much money." And they lost like 300 million, and then they lost like 200 million, and then they went bankrupt. Now they're not losing money anymore, but their margin is incredibly small. This is an interesting stock. I'm watching it, because okay, what is the good thing about iHeartRadio? They're the biggest. They're the biggest publisher of podcasts. They have the most radio stations. They have the most music outlets. They're on everything. They're on your smart TV. They're in your apps. They're on YouTube. Um, they're a huge media distribution operation. Now, besides advertisements, that's powerful. There is some power in that. You see what I'm saying?
So let me ask you this. After the last earnings, it went down, right? So it went down. But the previous earning, like the very, very first one, that
You mean
one,
after
it
the
went,
bankruptcy?
oh, okay. And then it
Yeah.
went, and then it moved up quite nicely. The last set of earnings,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. They were I think they lost a little bit of money,
Mm-hmm.
and then they lost less, and they were almost break even, and then they made money.
Wow.
But
So this one looks like it's gonna, this one looks like it's gonna pop probably.
well, you know how they said that um, the tech companies recently reported lower advertising revenues?
Yeah.
That's because a lot of these businesses are going out of business, and they had to. A lot of businesses said, okay, we need to pinch our pennies, and our biggest cost is advertising, so we're going to stop advertising for a time. And so this it might be bad, because if their advertising revenue um, is down, it's going to be real bad, because that's basically 80% of their money is radio ads. However, I don't know. I mean, would you stop advertising during COVID? You
Well,
would. It
I
depends, right?
depends. Yeah. Like Google was supposed to have crappy earnings because because they lost the Olympics, they lost the NBA, then they lost. Well, those were the two big ones, the Olympics and the NBA, and they were expected to tank, and they didn't.
Mm-hmm. Um, and what I do like about this company is they've paid off 2/3. They had $15 billion in debt when they went bankrupt. Can you imagine?
No.
Now they have 5 billion.
Well, that's going to be. I wonder, what's the date? Five. What? Can you put the little mouse there?
5.7
Wow. That's
aftermarket.
I'm gonna. That's cool.
This is an interesting one. I mean that they're they're they have huge revenues, tiny margins. That's bad, but it's powerful, dude. It's powerful to be able to reach millions upon millions of people.
No, it's huge. You know, my kid, my son, he's there. He just released an album with his wife because they're independent artists, and he did a whole thing on iHeartRadio just a couple of days ago.
They're the big boys.
Yeah, they're big.
We're also entering the presidential election. People love those radio shows, dude. Every day, when people start going, that's another problem. Is like, okay, when I used to work like more of a 9 to 5 job, I used to listen to some radio shows, and I was listening to iHeartRadio. This was years ago. Um, but you get attached to your programs. You got your personalities that you like to listen to, and you've got people that you don't like to listen to. However, if people aren't working, they're more likely to watch TV or to do other things. You know what I mean? Let's having the
Hmm.
radio on all day is more of a 9 to 5 thing. It's it's not really a sitting at home thing, in my opinion. For me, I don't know. I can't say what other people do, but I know that like when I was working 9 to 5 on the weekends, I wouldn't listen to my radio shows. I would just do other things.
Right.
So if people aren't working, I think this is an interesting one. And even though this is a big company, I can understand the scope of it. I, QCOM is a little confusing for me. Um, I've looked at their investor presentations, and I've gotten some idea of what they're up to, but I'm not 100% sure what their product line is. Right? I know it used to be 3G now it's 4G, and they're turning into 5G. And I know that their chips used to cost $22 and then they cost $25 and now they cost $29. Of course, over the years, inflation, so that's really about equal. So I know they make $29 a chip. That's pretty good. I mean,
Amazing.
consider how many cell phones are out there. Plus, their chips are in everything. They're in your refrigerator.
And who did you say this was again?
QCOM,
Wow.
QCOM.
Oh, Qualcomm. Sorry. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's, what about the 5G play? Apparently T-Mobile, TMUS is the big gun in the 5G world.
Well, I would argue that it doesn't QCOM. Didn't they invent 5G? I
Yes,
mean,
they certainly did.
they're
But
the ones who make the chips, right? What did
but
QCOM?
T-Mobile, I think they have if you put in their symbol TMUS, they're supposed to have a huge because of the towers. They're tied in with a company that's making these
Oh,
towers everywhere.
oh.
So, and apparently they're tied into that to the towers.
And
They got a big they got a big stake in the towers.
here's what I like about QCOM and what I like about T-Mobile also. This 5G is coming. I know that there's like people who don't like it for
That
whatever
say it's going to
reason.
give you cancer and all
Yeah,
that shit. Yeah,
that
it's
might be
coming.
true, but it's coming. I'm telling you, the wheels of industry are slowly turning, and maybe not even that slowly. It might be picking up speed now. I've heard that they've actually put up a ton of these things in the last like 3 months. That's what I heard.
Dude, they're full throttle. That's what I'm saying. They're full throttle.
Um, Here's a company that I haven't looked into, but I know who they are.
What do they
Tailored.
do? Tailored. What do these guys do?
This is Men's Warehouse.
Oh, well, they're probably
Like
going to tank right now. Nobody's got any money, right?
Men's Warehouse has a ton of debt. They have so much debt,
Yeah.
and if they can't pay the interest, it's like a domino effect. If you can't pay back one of your loans, all your other lenders come knocking, and they all
It's
want you to pay it
terrible.
back first. You know what I mean?
Yeah, everybody starts piling on.
Yeah, they say, don't pay them, pay us first, because we know you're going bankrupt. So
Mm,
this company is, you know, they have so much debt that you could probably buy this company for like 100 million bucks, something like that. Because, and this is a juggernaut. This is a massive company, thousands of stores.
amazing.
They have they have probably $1 billion worth of inventory that they're not going to get rid of. And like I said, I haven't looked into this company yet, and I don't think I'm going to because I know that they're in debt, and if they can't pay their interest on their debt, what's going to happen? They're going to have to go bankrupt.
That's sad, dude.
How about Hanes? Now, this is a company I'm bullish on, but why?
Tell me. Is it underwear?
Yes,
That's
underwear,
why.
t-shirts. They
Well,
make
that's why. That's
Champion. This is here's one that says well-run business with good dividend, high debt, but easily pays the interest and dividends. Not a growth stock. This is all they do, dude. This is a stable company. Their
no,
dividend,
and everybody needs to buy that. It doesn't matter if you don't have money or not. You need their product.
yeah, and their earnings were terrible. Um, they only made 5 cents a share. They had 46 cents a share last quarter. I listened to the conference call. This is what the guy said. He said, when COVID hit, all these stores, all these people that buy Hanes and then sell them, like Target, for instance, canceled their orders, right? Because what are they going to do with all this underwear? This is going to sit in their warehouse. So they said they had mass cancellations, and they said the first week of April, and you can see the first week of April is like the stock jumps up. So this is like insider trading or not, or this is like basically what the guy said was they all came back. They all came back. They realized that stores were going to reopen, that things were going to be okay, and they had a huge rush. And they're back, and they're basically back in business. So what the guy said, he said everything's fine, business as usual. We'll continue to pay the interest on our debt. They never pay it down, or very slowly, very very slowly. They have like 4 billion in debt, but everybody's happy. They pay a big dividend, 60 cents a year on a $10 company, right? Could have gotten in at 7 for a sick 9% dividend.
Hmm.
Um, they keep selling, and they
So
still
so
make
their earnings was what?
5 cents,
And what was the expectation?
uh, 11 cents.
Was that today?
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was. I listened to this conference call this morning, or at least most of it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he said they had a huge influx of orders. They had a huge cancellation in the midst of
So this
COVID.
thing should pop tomorrow then, huh?
Well, it got crushed today. I wonder why.
Well, their earnings was today, right?
It was this morning.
Oh, that doesn't make sense.
I guess people saw the earnings and thought that they're dead in the water. But what they didn't realize is that that's because all those orders got canceled, but those orders got replaced. So next quarter, you're going to see an earnings surprise, right? You got to listen to these conference calls. And the other thing that I like about this company is the guy's well spoken. He tells you the deal. There's no buzzwords. There's no lying. He tells you how much they made. He puts it into ways you can understand. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I was thinking about getting in today, but then uh, I don't know. I'm also, we just don't know. I have a limited amount of money, and I would rather use it to trade options, frankly, at least for right now. I don't want to put a bunch of money in Hanes and then have it
Dude,
tank all
if I
day.
was you, I'm telling you, I'd wait for the Zoom play. I'm waiting for that Zoom play of Will's. That's what I'm gonna bet a little bit on that. I hope it works out.
Yeah.
Every time Will touches Facebook, he gets his hands burned a little bit. And not Facebook, I mean Tesla.
Mm-hmm.
So what did Tesla end up at? 781? Wow. Hey, real quick question I want to ask you, Clifton. So
Mm-hmm.
you're a professional poker player?
Yes, sir.
That's amazing, dude. I wished
Mm-hmm.
I knew how to play poker. I love that game, but you know, I've never studied it. And
Do you play with people regularly? Like you got
I
friends?
used to, you know, now I stay on stupid poker stars, but I know that that's, you know, that's all algorithms. Like some days I can win, I'm winning, and then for days I won't win one effing hand. Like I'll even have like a full house, and a guy will have four of a kind. I mean, like what's going on here? But the game I really like. You ever play High Low Omaha?
Yep.
I love that stupid game.
Yeah, it's a fun game for sure.
So have you ever gone to in Vegas to any of those casino tournaments?
No, never been to Vegas, but I live in DC, and
Washington?
and
Oh, cool.
there's a real big casino. It's an MGM, and that was what I would do. I just go there every day. It's great. It's probably the second best place to play poker in the whole country.
Well, all right, brother. It sounds like you're getting a little busy there. I really enjoyed it today. It was awesome.
Yeah, man. Good talking to you. Thanks again for helping me out.
No
And
problem. We'll chat tomorrow.
yeah, keep watching FPH, dude. And
And iHeart.
iHeart's going to be interesting. Now, I don't know about. I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm bullish on them, but and the
It's
other
going to
one,
be, yeah.
what was the other
FPH.
one?
So you're bullish on that FPH. Do they have earnings or what? It doesn't really show us there.
Yeah, they just it's you know I think it's a great company, but if the housing market looks ugly, which it probably will,
That's what I'm worried about.
but hey, you get it at a good price. Get it
That's
in a
true.
great
This is a
price.
long hold here.
Yes, it is. It is.
Hey, what
Sports
about
can.
Snap? Are you the one that's all over Snap? One of these boys today was all over Snap, and it
Um,
looks like it looks pretty interesting. Look at that huge gap up.
how did Snap do?
So it's still hanging in there.
Yeah, I posted a bearish play on Snap today, and that would have
You,
worked out great if you could have gotten out around 17.3, 17.4.
dude,
Would have
even
been
the first drop would have worked out great.
yeah. I posted it, but I just didn't want to bet against. The other thing is I'm on PDT rule,
Hey, can
and
you zoom in on that? I want to. So tell me. Let's talk about this real quick before we go.
yeah,
Zoom in a little more.
a
Just
little
a
more.
hair, just right where it breaks resistance. So it gapped up. Okay, so look, this is what he says. It breaks the first candle, then it broke below. I'm talking about that fat green above the white line on the left, on the
Right
left, on the
here.
left. So look, so it came down from here,
Yeah.
then it touched, it broke it, then it came back down. That's not confirmation. Then it went, then the next one went up, then, but there was no doji candle, so I don't understand. That's where he gets me. But he would,
Um,
I wonder where he would have got in. He probably, see, it
but
had to break, it has to,
right here. Right here is where you get in, dude. Right here.
now,
This is your golden chance because there there's buyers. There's buyers at 1768, right? But look at the selling pressure. And I mean this is really bearish, but you're seeing the buying pressure increasing. See the hollow part?
yeah, that's people buying.
And then you see this little
Thin candle, yeah.
crappy red. They call this a rest candle, but
Mm-hmm.
that's not what I call it. But and then you got one here too. Right here's your confirmation that this was the Bulls' chance. This is their chance. They missed their chance. Boom. And then you're holding. You're here. You're holding because you still are using the previous closing price as your guide. And then boom. And then you're holding. You're loving life.
So show me that one more time, Clifton. How did you know? Like that's the part that's what this is what
Um,
I'm. Okay, so you wouldn't have got it. So how much is that money wise? Like where you would have said right there. So 17.
It's, oh, sorry, 1769, 1768, somewhere in there. This is where
And
you
then
would
into
get your
that bottom candle, how much would that have been?
well,
15 cents?
yeah, you're holding, you're holding, you're holding. Stop, Peggy. Sorry, my dog is
It's all right.
right here is you're getting real happy, right? You're like, oh man, I'm making real money now. And then this green candle, you see some selling pressure. But then
Yeah.
look at this. This is what they call resistance, right?
They call what?
Resistance.
Okay.
And then it just shatters the resistance. This is where you get out. This is where I would get out. I'd say, okay, the Bears had their fun. Seven, and look at how it's on an even number. I think psychologically, people
Definitely. That's a
people see
psych
this
level.
and they
25, 50,
yeah
75, a dollar.
they go 17 and a quarter. I'll pay that for Snapchat,
Yeah.
you know. So I'd be watching that, and then I would, but when I see this resistance get absolutely gobbled up,
Higher
absolutely
high,
destroyed.
higher high, higher high,
Yeah,
higher high.
this is where I would get out. Right when I saw this wick fill, I'd say, take my profit now. That's what I would do. But I didn't want to bet against it. I also I need to probably go to a cash account because I'm on this PDT rule,
Yeah, I
and
got you.
so I only have one more trade until
Well,
Monday.
I'm just letting you know those minis, dude. You can trade those, and
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna pay attention to the minis.
I'll show you some more stuff about that because I'm normally in a room trading that stuff, but I just wanted to take a little time off from it. So I'm a little worried. Amazon missed, so it's tanking.
Really, they missed earnings,
Fucking missed those. It's down 118 a share now.
and you need to be above
23.15.
23.50.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be worried yet. Look at how low the volume is.
Well, I hope that I'm able to dump out it. I'm just going to dump in the morning. I just hope it doesn't. It could go down $200 on the
What
because
what what am I looking at with Amazon? Is this super
it's
low
at,
volume all
no,
day?
no. You're looking at after hours. Look back out to the five. See the gray. See after the black. Now you're in after hours. You know what I'm talking about? After hours.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I'm just
Look at
wondering.
that huge spike. Bam. Look at that red candle, dude. That that hurts.
Oh yeah, I guess
So
because Amazon's so expensive, that's why the volume is low.
well after and plus people. Not everybody can trade after hours. So we'll
No,
see
but I
how.
mean, I mean during the day. I mean, you see, today there was 9 million shares traded, and that sounds like a lot
It's
when you.
not
Yeah, it's
not
not.
not not for that stock.
I
So
guess because.
and the thing that pisses me off is I'm looking at the stupid thing and they where is it? Amazon quarter beats on net sales, but posts net income of 2.5 billion down, a billion down from a year ago, which makes no sense, but whatever. But they beat Q1 beats on net sales of 75.5 billion, but post net income 2.5 down, 1 billion down up from a year ago, which makes no sense to me.
This is Jeff Bezos, right?
Yeah.
I wonder if you were to read their 10Q, which is the quarterly report.
We'll go to the fundamentals. Let's go to yeah, fundamentals. And now the quarterly, you see how the annual and the quarterly, if you click on the quarterly right there,
But they don't have a link to the maybe they do. Do they have a link to the SEC filing? Oh, they're super easy to find. You just go to Amazon and then go to investor relations, or you
let
can
me
just.
see. Let's see. Go to, let's see. Uh, does Yahoo Finance do that under their, look, have you ever gone to Yahoo or not?
Yeah, I do, but just the best way to do this is type in Amazon investor relations
Oh, okay.
and then quarterly results, and this will provide you with a nice PDF. And then, okay, This, I like this. They've got a nice summary. Operating cash flow increased. Free cash flow increased. Operation income decreased by 400 million. Net income decreased by 1.1 million, or I mean billion. So you go down, they should have a table of contents. I don't know why they don't. It might be over
Probably
here.
a long ass PDF.
It's actually pretty short for quarterly,
Okay.
but actually I've never seen one like this before. Normally they are super long and they're real standard. They all look the same. What are we looking for? We're looking for an explanation, and they're not going to provide it. But normally there's a annual reports. Let's see if this one looks like normal. Yeah, this is more normal. You have a table of contents, and you go to management's discussion and analysis of financial condition and results of operation. This is you never read this. Forward-looking statements, it's copy and pasted. It just says, hey, we can't predict the future. And I'm just looking for one that looks easy to. Okay, here we go. Sales increased 20% in 2019. Changes in foreign currency exchange rates impacted net sales. Okay, for a discussion on the effect of sales growth, and they'll provide an explanation later on. North American sales increased 21%, primarily reflects increased unit sales, including sales by third-party sellers. This is like when you go to Amazon, there's like 1,000 different people selling the same thing.
Right.
They're saying there's even more people doing that and it's benefiting them.
Definitely.
International sales increased.
Yeah, I'll be down in a second, honey.
But these are really interesting, and if they're concise and well written, to me that's very bullish. You can also see risk factors. This is another area where if they're giving you a bunch of bullshit, it's not a well-run company. We face intense competition. Most companies say this. Do they mention Alibaba? Sometimes they'll actually list their biggest competitors, and they'll say, you know, we consider Alibaba to be blah blah blah. Our expansion places a significant strain. Okay, that makes sense. They're huge. They're a huge company. There's probably a lot of leakage. You know what I mean? A lot of wasted money. New products, service, technology, and regions, additional risks. That makes, of course, there's always risk. We experience significant fluctuations, right? So what they're saying is that, well, you know what that means. It means it's not predictable. Being an international company has additional risks, right?
Well, you really know how to read these things, don't you?
Like I said, I've gone through 7 or 8 of these now. And when you read one that's interesting, that seems pertinent,
It teaches you a lot, yeah.
Yeah, and then you want to read the full paragraphs and find out exactly what they're talking about. And what I found is that some companies, you won't be able to tell what they're talking about, or you'll read
I hate those. Like, I don't know what I'm just reading a bunch of crap and I have no idea what it means, and I hate that.
So these are companies that you can day trade, but you don't want to invest in them, right? Because they're hiding something from you. You know, we could be harmed by data loss, hackers, basically, right? Well, anyway, I wish that their quarterly report said very clearly why they lost so much money, but I'm not sure that it said it. Well, they didn't lose money. They just made less than they expected. Or no, not even that. They made less than they did last year.
Amazing stuff, dude.
Look
This
at this.
is,
Under normal circumstances in the coming Q2, we'd expect to make 4 billion or more in operating profit, but these aren't normal circumstances. Instead, we expect to spend all 4 billion, maybe more, on COVID related expenses, getting products to customers and keeping employees safe. What? I don't know if that's bullish or bearish. I mean, it sounds pretty bearish.
yeah, what did it say again?
It says we expect to spend more than $4 billion over the next quarter getting products to
Oh,
customers and keeping employees safe.
yeah,
Investment.
because they have these forklifts that drive through the warehouse, and it's spraying disinfectant,
Yeah.
and so it goes through every so often, and they're having to sanitize. So basically the money that they saved on gas, because the gas prices dropped by 50%. So that brought, like, I want to say, I can't remember what the number was, but it brought like 100 million to their bottom line. But they're spending a lot in this disinfectant shit.
Yeah. Look at
So
this.
they're saving on gas, but having to to buy all this sterilization equipment.
Oh man, look. We bought 100 million face masks, 1,000 thermal cameras, 31,000 thermometers,
Right.
daily temperature checks for employees and support staff.
Now, was this just released today?
Yes.
So after the earnings, and that's why it's down, because people are looking at that crap. So
I think it
I,
was just released today, right?
I don't know.
Is,
That's what
is
I'm
there
saying.
is there a date on it? Yeah, April 30th.
So it's at 2350 right now. So, but I think it might sell off even more tomorrow. So we'll see. Oh, well,
In March, we increased pay for hourly employees by $2 an hour. That's a lot because you figure they have so many employees. They're planning on hiring 175,000 new employees.
well,
Oh
that's a
my
good thing.
God. Well, yeah, sure, but we doubled the regularly hourly base pay to $34 an hour. Yeah, I find this stuff to be interesting. I know a lot of people poo-poo on fundamental analysis,
No, I love it.
but it really helps you
I don't
to.
normally go to this degree. I normally do the market, what I showed you in TOS, but this is a lot more in depth.
Okay, here's your guidance. What? Oh, okay. This is a huge range. We expect to make or lose $1.5 billion.
That's what they lost.
Um, no. They made 5 billion, but they made 6.5 last year, right? That's what they said. They're saying next quarter we're going to spend $4 billion, and our income could be negative or positive 1.5 billion compared to whatever. Last year they made $3 billion in the same time. So that's interesting. I wonder what that's going to do to the share price. I mean, people are finding, I guess it's killing it, right? I mean, I guess they're going down.
It's going, dude. It's at 2344 right now. And tomorrow it's probably going to go back down to two. It's probably going to sell off to 2 grand. I don't even know I'll be able to get out tomorrow. I'm going to get jacked. Oh, well. It was I could have got out today many times, and I chose to hold my nuts. It is what it is. We'll see. It might be able to maintain that 2315 for a few minutes.
Yeah. But yeah, if you ever want to do this, the best way, like any company, you go Nike Investor
I
Relations,
like that. That's amazing.
and then because if you go to the SEC, their website's really cumbersome. Come on, Nike, why don't you have why don't you have it like Amazon has? Here,
I bet you this thing's going to go down. Who's buying their crap, and are they producing in China and all that? Like,
I don't know. Okay, so you had to click a couple of things, but finally you get it. Here's their quarterlies. You want to get the press release, or not the press. You want to get the PDF. Um, their earnings calls are really insightful, and the annual report is the big one because, well, it encompasses all the quarters, and um, you know, this stuff's important. Like GameStop. GameStop is not going to have a positive quarter
God,
until next Christmas probably.
that thing got pounded.
They just don't make money
What are
usually.
they at? $5? Wow, from there he's 35. Shit. Wow.
Market Edge is long on GameStop. Whatever. These are kind of interesting. I've looked into these. I think they can be interesting if you understand their metrics.
Oh, right.
Like it says sell. That doesn't mean that necessarily you should sell it. But if you read the street's guidelines, you would understand that sell is based on certain metrics, both technical and fundamental. And you, like if you really understood these, you could understand.
I like it. You've showed me a lot today, dude. This is amazing.
Hard to borrow GameStop, dude. Hard to borrow.
Yeah,
Poor GameStop. So Amazon's dude, this is a put. This is a put now.
I know. So
Tomorrow there might be some yeah, dude. Yeah, this could be a big opportunity, man.
you think I should go in and get it by a put? And you're right. Maybe I can defend my. I have this vert spread, and this is one I've never held it to day of expiration. Never. I normally get out tomorrow. They expire worthless. Like by the time the market closes. What I'm wondering if I buy the call and just let the put go.
I'm not sure. I've often wondered about that as well because
Yeah.
I have a put that I bought when I was
Well, but I have the
a couple
call and
months
the put,
ago.
so I'm saying I sell the call, or should I?
You buy the put.
No, I already the vertical spread. You buy the in and you sell the out. So I have the 2305 put. I'm wondering if I should cover the call and just let the put run.
So oh, I see what you're
You see
saying.
what I'm saying, dude?
Um
But I've never done that on the day of expiration, so I'm a little worried.
here's what I would say. Oh my God, this candle is so scary
Look
looking,
at
dude.
look at the three candles. 1, 2, 3. It's been down to 23, back up to 24, back down. That's crazy. People are
That's a scary candle. This is a put opportunity, man. This is a huge put opportunity. Oh my God.
I wonder if that guy day trader knows the answer to that question.
I think you can, man. I think you
No,
can.
I can, but I don't know what, I've never, I always usually close my spreads, but I didn't think they were going to miss at all. Like I was way off. Okay,
So
I'm coming.
one last question, I'll let you go.
All right.
What would be the difference on this vertical that you have had you closed it today and taken profits
Well, the
versus the
spread, I bought the
maximum
spread at 5
downside?
and I could have sold it at 8. And I was trying to get the whole 10 like a greedy twat. I should have sold it at 8.
So if tomorrow works out for you, you'd make a whole 10,
Yeah, but
right?
if I stay above 23.15, but that has to be by the, close to the last 2 or 3 hours.
But you could sell it anytime in that range
Anytime.
tomorrow,
You can sell
right?
them anytime. Yeah. All right, I'm coming.
And you'd make about 8.
Well, who knows what the spread will be worth? It might be worth less than what I paid for it, which will suck. If it's above 23.15, it will. See, if it's above 23.15, both options expire worthless.
Uh-huh.
But as I'm saying, then I sell the 2305 and keep the put if it's going
Yeah.
to tank.
This
But I need to
doesn't-
I need to ask somebody who's experienced in that because I've never held one this far out. Okay, I'm coming.
I
All right,
should.
I'm getting bugged, dude. I got to roll, but thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Hey, man, great talking to you today, bud.
All right, later. Have a good one.
See you, man.